What's up, people? Welcome to a very special episode of Wrestle Update. I'm your host, as always, Dylan Fox, joined by Nella De Angelis, all the way on the other side of the country, West-East connection here.
Woo Crew.
Woo Crew, shout out, represent. A lot of people liked our Ring of Honor episode we did. I got multiple comments from people that praised it.
Sweet.
Yeah, so people were very happy with that. There was a lot of good and bad, mostly good. But the one criticism that was consistent across the comments that we had was we didn't talk that much about the trios belts, Nello, and what our plans would have been for them in our Ring of Honor visions that we had.
Fair.
Did we hate on the trios belts unexpectedly? Not on purpose. I mean, it was completely, completely not on purpose on my part. I don't know about you. Do you just hate trios matches?
Think the Sons of Texas burned me a little bit.
That's fair. To be fair, see, this is a very, very logical explanation we just had here. Looking forward to some trios action this weekend. Gonna be tuning in for CMLL Anniversario 92, the oldest promotion in the world. Bringing back Lucha Talk for it as well. Me and Microman Fever gonna come back in. Talked to that brother for a good 4 hours the other day. We didn't even record anything.
Microman?
Not Microman Fever, my friend.
Oh.
He's just a very big fan of Microman. In fact, he even has it on his Twitter, not the actual Microman. He's been miscast as that many times, so you're not the first to do that, my friend. But we're gonna be back. We were gonna do a show about the AAA show, but we ended up talking so long about personal stuff, I just was too tired to do it, pretty much. But we will bounce back for Anniversary. It's been like a year since we did a Lucha Talk. To all the cage match inmates out there, we back. Like I said, a lot happened to cause this extended break, but we are back, and we will be back for the foreseeable future as well. I can't wait to talk to Micro again. But this is not about CMLL. Well, I guess it kind of is. I mean, MJF's in one of the main matches on Anniversario. So he's going to have to get from Mexico City to Toronto in one day. So I guess that's the closest we can say. But this show that you're listening to right now, the whole point of it is to preview All Out. And Nello, we just you watched the Dynamite, right?
I got to watch like the first half. The second half, I had to take care of some stuff.
It's okay. Hey, if you didn't watch the second half, it's going to be a surprise even to you who qualified to for the tag.
Let's go.
See, so live reactions as to who qualified here. Well, we got a whole show. Let me tell me and tell the listeners, how does this sound to you, Nello? 3 pre-show matches and 10 regular show matches. 13 matches on this All Out in Toronto.
How many matches does WrestlePalooza have? Do you know? Is it 5 like all the others?
5. Yeah, it's always 5 with WrestlePalooza.
So they're selling you 5 matches for $30, or you can get 14 or 13 matches for $40. Like, one company loves wrestling and the other company loves money.
Man, it's gonna be so weird. Imagine if SportsCenter comes there at the show. To those who don't know, I was traveling last week for work-related stuff. I traveled to another state. I was supposed to travel to a lot more states, but I didn't. There was only one state. The great state of Kentucky. Shout out to Kentuckians out there. When I was in the hotel room, the only channel that they had was ESPN on there. And I watched PTI for the first time in probably 20 years. I used to watch the show religiously before I got the internet. But then on SportsCenter when that came up, I didn't recognize anybody hosting. Like all the people I knew were gone. And they actually had Joe Tessitore on to talk about the pay-per-view, the WrestlePalooza. So that was a shocker. I'd like to say the least.
Well, when I was at the gym earlier today, there was Pardon the Interruption was on.
Yeah, that was the show I'm talking about. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And then CM Punk was like, next up on SportsCenter.
Oh, that's funny. That Punk is the one to do it. But yeah, they are a multimedia conglomerate. And AEW is bringing a lot of matches to us. So let's go through it on this show. I guess we could say, like you said, you did watch half of the Go Home show. I watched the whole thing. I usually say this going into the review, but since we're doing a preview, we could ask this question now. What is your hype level that AEW has brought to us, has brought to you, has brought out of you for this All Out in Toronto? How excited about this show are you?
Pretty excited. AEW pay-per-views deliver. Canada's a great crowd, typically. And lots of this doesn't quite feel as big. Like this feels like not one of the big four in terms of like the matches, because I think so many stories were just capped off at All In. So this feels almost like the start of a new season. Briscoe MJF, Fletcher Page, unified title, like starting to plant the seeds of Takeshita Okada. So it feels like this is the beginning of a lot more stories than it is like the climax, right? But I'm still very excited. I think there's going to be crazy amount of good stuff on this show. How about you?
AEW pay-per-views are among the safest bets in all of wrestling. Like, I'm certain this will be a good show. In terms of the stories they're telling, almost none of them are connecting with me, to be honest with you. I do have to say, there's not a single match here that I really feel like has been built up in a way that really intrigues me. I would say the ladder match is going to be an insane spectacle, and that's really all the build you need to do it, pretty much. The title match is good, but to be honest, the fact that I don't think it's going to be the main event again is really deflating. Like, for this whole, it's honestly a big black mark on this whole company. Like, you built this whole storyline. Well, I will talk about it with the title match. But regardless, I wish that their stories grabbed me a little bit more, because I want to like a lot of these matches, and I think that there's going to be some bangers on here. But I'm just not into anything they're doing, really, right now, outside of, like, a couple of things. Because there's certain things that I've kind of, like, headcanoned in that, okay, hopefully X will happen, and if that happens, I'll be happy. But we'll see how they turn it around overall. But I'm still excited about the wrestling part of it. I don't think that it feels like a show that I'm personally that invested in. But I hope that the matches make up for it, and I come in talking about, because we will do a review, by the way, like about the show after it ends. So we're planning to do it pretty much right as it ends. I don't want to promise that, because you never know what'll happen. But we will be watching live. This is the show too. The first show after the announcement of the pay-per-views coming to HBO Max as well. This is going to be the first one ever to stream on that as well. So I thought it was interesting that the deal they made. I guess we can briefly talk about that. What did you think about the pay-per-views getting to stream on Max now, and the story that came out about that?
Love it, and at a discounted price for sure. I will probably be using Max.
There's really no reason not to at this point. I get Max as a part of my DoorDash subscription. So I basically get Max for free, and I get a little bit of a discount on the show. So there's really no downside to it. I wonder if they wanted a more like overarching deal. And again, this is not anything I know for sure, but it's just me speculating, or not even speculating. I'm just questioning. If they thought that maybe HBO or Warner or whoever would have just bought the pay-per-views, like bought the library, same way that Peacock has had WWE shows for a while. Like if they thought that they could do that, but this is probably the better option anyway. Like with ESPN's just completely disgusting overcharging of their streaming services. Now, punishing the WWE fans and sports fans in general. But so like this is probably a good deal overall, and it's just again, there's no real issue with it at all. Like there's no negative you could say about it really. This is also the first All Out to be outside of Chicago as well, so we do get to see that. First match on the pre-show that we have to talk about is an 8-woman tornado tailgate brawl. Harley Cameron, Mina Shirakawa, Queen Aminata, and Willow Nightingale versus Megan Bayne, Penelope Ford, and 2/3 of the Triangle of Madness, the Line of Madness, I suppose. Julia Hart and Sky Blue. 8 women, tornado tailgate. What this match is, I don't know. They didn't really explain it whatsoever. What do you have in mind? What do you think is going to happen in this match? What's your prediction for the tornado tailgate? Which, by the way, will be airing free. They're putting these women on the pre-show to do this whatever crazy match this is. But what do you think about it? And what's your prediction?
I'm excited. I've really been enjoying this basically never-ending pairing and feud between all these women. It's like the entire mid-card of the division just endlessly brawling. I'm hoping for some serious story movements, setting up some angles for the next show. Like we've got to be building towards a blood and guts here. I'm hoping,
Right.
I really hope the women get it. So I'm hyped for it. Oh, how was Thekla and Aminata? That was the one that I missed that I really wanted to see.
Yeah, Thekla and Aminata. Man, how good has their feud been that they've had up to this point as well? Because this is something that they built up well. It was a crazy weapons match. They started off right away with a trash can with a bunch of kendo sticks in there. The crowd loved it. It was a really hot crowd. And it was a really good match at the end of the day. And basically said, that led to Thekla cutting a big promo on Toni Storm, and that led to a big brawl between everybody in the women's match. Pretty much. And then it that led into a bunch of angles. It's kind of it bled into the women's title angle where Yuta came in. They've been doing this whole bullshit for a year now where Yuta's been trying to get Statlander to join the Death Riders. But then Marina Shafir came in and was like, shut the fuck up, Yuta. And so she pulled him away. Hayter brawled, Storm brawled. The referees all ran out. So they had this huge angle to set up the women's title match. Coming off of the Thekla and Aminata stuff. But the Thekla and Aminata thing has been built off of the feud they've had for months now, ever since Aminata kind of it's no-sold Thekla and got mad for whatever reason. So yeah, that's kind of like a preview to a bigger Blood and Guts, and you kind of took the leftovers who aren't in the main title match, like in the 4-way title match, and put them here. I doubt the win matters much. My hope is Willow scores the fall over Ford. If it were me, that's what I would do. What about you?
Oof. I think that the heels need to win to extend this to a Blood and Guts.
I feel like they could do a bigger Blood and Guts with some of the other women in the title match as well. Kind of throw them in there if you want.
Yeah.
Because, like, to me, a Blood Gut should have Tekla and Aminata squaring off, in my opinion. Then you can put Statlander in the other team. Maybe, like, replace Harley and Penelope with Stat and Tekla. And then, like, that could be the Blood and Guts. But, I mean, the heels could still win here and set the traffic. If that happened, if the heels win, I would have Bane pin Harley at that point, then. Is that fair?
Yeah. I mean, I think Harley is always the best person to take the fall. I don't think she's capable of losing stock. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she'll bounce right back, like whatever promo they have. So okay, that's good. Yeah, you kind of sold me on it. Like, build to the bigger match. Let the faces win the end Blood and Guts deal. And so yeah, we'll go with the Triangle Madness getting a win here. The second pre-show match, Danny Garcia versus Katsuyori Shibata. They did a big angle with Garcia turning heel and joining the Death Riders last week. And he's been a big push guy, and I'm pretty sure he's going to win this match against Shibata.
Yeah, do you think that this is just setting up maybe another Death Riders Trios run? Because I imagine if Garcia gets the win over one of the Trios champs, then we're going to see Yuta, Claudio, Garcia.
Yeah, and like, that's a strong team too. I think the turn is like the best thing to happen to Garcia, in all honesty. On the Ring of Honor show, I argued that he should go down to Ring of Honor and be like, in my original version, he was like the next guy up, like the next face of ROH, and that was going to be his redo. But obviously, they've decided to like go a different route completely and just say, hey, like, we're going to give this another shot with him as a heel. It's just like with Yuta, it still feels like kind of a neutral move of where he was a year or two ago. But it's better than what he was doing, because he was basically a complete non-entity for the last few months. And so I thought it was a great decision to turn him, actually. I think him and Yuta as a tag team could be, a good pair. I questioned his ceiling overall as a singles guy, so I think putting him in a group is a great idea as well. Everything about it I liked. I thought the angle was good. It should have led to Darby killing him at some point, but we'll see what happens afterwards. But yeah, Shibata loses nothing, and even though I like him a lot, he's not going anywhere. It was weird how they set this up, because they have him in a singles match, and then the other two, Joe and Hobbs, taking on the Workhorsemen. And that's the third pre-show match. And the Hobbs are surely going to win that match there. But why'd they do that? Why did they just have the Ops? Like, just put them versus the Death Riders. Like, in there. You've already got build for it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm happy to see the Workhorsemen get on the show. I'm not going to complain about that, but it's just really weird booking. It's like they wanted to get all three guys on the show, but they didn't want them to have to do a trios defense. Doesn't quite make sense.
Yeah, I mean, you could have just do a trios, put somebody with the Workhorsemen. It could be pretty much virtually anyone. And let them have a trios title match, and let Garcia beat somebody else. Let him beat Anthony Bowens or whatever. God says he's already on the way to reforming the Acclaimed again. But yeah, whatever. I mean, it should be a good match, like you said. The pay-per-view, like I said, there's a ton of matches on here. I'm not really sure where to start, but, we don't have the exact lineup yet. But I'll just kind of go with my gut on it. Eddie Kingston versus Big Bill. And the build to this was Kingston was inexplicably called out by Big Bill 1 week for seemingly no reason. And now we have a match here.
Dude, you know what Big Bill should do next week? after he loses to Eddie Kingston.
Yeah.
He should come out. He should be like, Kenta Kobashi. Just because it seems like this is a really good way to get someone back into the ring, just like no problem. So why not try it with someone else, you know?
It worked when you think about it. Overall, so you have to appreciate that. I like that. But yeah, I mean, why though? Like, what does this do for anyone? Because I like Big Bill. Like, I feel like you would like, this is a guy with some upside. Like, I feel like, like this spot feels to me like, if it were me, this would have been a squirrely heel to do this, like a Yuta. Like, like he gets a promo, talks big shit on Kingston, and challenges him to a match. Kingston has a heroic return, knocks him out in like 5 seconds. But you can't really do that with Bill. Brian Keith was pretty funny on the backstage segment they had this week, though, on the Go Home show. And I liked Big Bill's promos too, by the way. Like I said, I don't think he should be put in this position to be embarrassed seemingly against Kingston. Or who knows? Maybe Kingston just won't show up, and that'll be the story.
Who's to say? I mean, okay, this is AEW's a pretty smart company. This makes me think of Ibushi Yujiro. First match of the G1. Every single person in their bracket put Yujiro, and then the whole story of the match was Ibushi's first match back from injury. He was just kind of rusty, and he had to shake it off. So could we see a Big Bill get a win here, and then kind of play the angle of Kingston's back, but he didn't, like, having them have a really contested match or something? Or does Kingston simply have to win just because he's returning?
Well, he wins not just because of that. Another issue I have with this, in my opinion, Kingston's return should have been against the Death Riders. Like, why is he not going after Moxley? He's the perfect person to step up to him and do something. To just randomly return to fight Big Bill in a match for seemingly no reason? I'm not feeling this at all. Man, if you were to ask me my interest level in this match, it's like a 0 out of 10. Like, and I like both guys. Again, I think Big Bill's a really good guy. And Kingston, we all love, but this isn't doing it for me. Like, none of this makes sense. And maybe it will later. But I think I'm almost certain Kingston will win this match, personally, for the record.
Remember when Brian returned and they had him feud with Big Bill? Is this giving you the same energy as that?
Well, that was worse because, like, Brian was already, like, everyone was fantasy booking those dream matches, and Big Bill wasn't that good back then either. Like, he's definitely a lot better now than he was then. But yeah, do you think Big Bill will win?
Maybe
I'm wrong.
I'm split on this. I'm going to go 50-50.
Okay. Just for funsies, which sides would you pick?
I'll go Big Bill on this one. I'll go opposite, so we can see.
Okay.
When we do our review show, we can go through our predictions and see who was right and who was wrong.
Well, to me, that's actually a more interesting finish, in my opinion, if Big Bill were to win. Because it would give Kingston a storyline, which he does not have at all in this feud, unfortunately. The next match on the card, again, there's a lot of matches to go through here, but that was one without a title. That's another thing. Like, so many of these matches are title matches, I must say. The Hurt Syndicate, Lashley, Shelton, MVP versus Ricochet and your favorites, GOA.
Hey, look, a trios match.
Yeah, that's right. See, listen, and they are not. Don't blame us for not booking the Ring of Honor trios titles. Look what AEW's doing. Like, But they are not the Gates of Agony anymore, Nello. They are simply GOA now. Does that increase your interest in them after that?
Absolutely not.
You're gonna disrespect Goa?
Go away. What did you think of the match from tonight, Lashley and Leona?
I thought Lashley looked awesome in it, and I wish he had looked even more dominant. To be honest, because I thought he looked like a beast in that match. I like that the Hurt Syndicate are so far above these goofs that it's crazy. I can't believe this is a match on pay-per-view.
Do you think it should be competitive, or do you think that this should be the sort? I mean, it's going to be competitive. If tonight was any indication,
yeah.
Lashley sold for like the entire first half of the match.
Yeah, that part sucked. like you're right, but that's been my problem all year. Go back to the Revolution when they had to sell for freaking Outrunners. I said they're gonna rue the day that they do this with these guys. These guys should be the Road Warriors. They hurt people. That's it. But that has not been how the run's gone at all. I thought Lashley looked really good. He got the best out of Toa Leona. But yeah, like he did sell way too much. These two shouldn't be selling for anybody. Like that's truly how I feel at the moment. But on the other hand, you're getting MVP in a match. So you get the trios match here. I think I'm kind of scared that the Ricochet team will win, and I really hope they don't. To be honest, I really hope the Hurt Syndicate win this, and we could try to get these guys back on track. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Hurt Syndicate win. I think that this is getting them ready for the trios division as well.
And I'd be happy with that for sure. They're like Lashley and Shelton rule. MVP's a great talker. Can hold his own in a trios match still. One of the responses we got to the Ring of Honor show, someone's idea was like send the Hurt Syndicate to Ring of Honor and just basically build it around them. Like their idea was to give Lashley the championship and Shelton would be pure champion and they'd be the tag champions at the same time.
That's like sick.
It was like that's a better idea than ours actually. Like they're the tag champions and the trios champions and they each have a singles belt. There, like that's money right there. I love it. That's a lot better than Goa going against them and Ricochet. What happened to MJF? I thought he was the one that hired them to attack him.
Did
that get dropped?
Dude, that whole MJF Hurt Syndicate angle feels so strange now.
What a dumb angle. That should have never happened. Like MJF should have never even. Their one segment should have been him trying to join the Hurt Syndicate. They could do the thumbs up and thumbs down thing for a couple of weeks, and then they destroy him. We never got them beating up MJF. Like that's all I wanted from that angle. Why? That's the easiest layup. That would get a huge pop and a huge reaction. How can you do my guys like this, Tony Khan? Very unhappy. That's not the only thing with MJF I'm going to be unhappy about coming up.
Oh.
So after that, I'll go through the non-title matches first. In fact, what a great thing. MJF and Mark Briscoe. A tables and thumbtacks match. I hate this feud so much. I think it's like Mark's worst work of his career, in my opinion. Like that I can remember.
Wow.
Like it's not his fault.
Mark.
It's not his fault. Like I mean, how good can you really like? What wrestler in the history of wrestling can make an angle where MJF threatens to burn them alive? Really, like go anywhere further than that on there. And all they did was. So then they had what'd you think about the angle they showed on tonight, where MJF stormed Tony Khan's office?
I mean, it felt like it was supposed to be a comedic angle, and I chuckled.
Exactly. But man, what is it? Do you want to set him on fire? You're talking about his dead brother? We're going to have a violent hardcore match. And we're just doing this goofy, like you said, comedic angle here. And the whole point of this storyline was supposedly that MJF pushed Mark too far. And now we're going to get the killer Mark Briscoe. He's not comedy good guy anymore. Like, he's a serious Mark Briscoe. But that has not materialized at all in any meaningful way. I think this feud sucks. I hope it ends after this match. And I'm sure MJF will win against all of my wishes. Especially considering he's going to lose the match at Arena Mexico the night before. It's almost certain that MJF will win this. Yeah. I'll go with MJF. I'm sure the match will be okay. Pretty much. But I don't know. Do you think Mark could win and make me a little bit happier?
MJF has this contract that keeps him in the world title picture no matter what. They've teased Hangman versus Briscoe multiple times and wanting to go there. You're going to a non-Big Four pay-per-view next. I think you could definitely do Briscoe versus Hangman at the next pay-per-view. If there's any match on this show that feels like it's the number one contenders match, it's this one.
Didn't he say when he was talking to Tony that he was like, you ruined my contract. You took it away from me. I may have heard that wrong, or maybe that was like, maybe he's just talking about, because Tony said that after the post-show scrum on the last show that you cannot cash in the contract at any time. It must be a 1 week build at least to the match. So maybe that's what he meant. Because they made it clear that he didn't cash in the contract last at the pay-per-view in that horrendous match that he had versus Adam Page. But yeah, I hope you're right. I really do. And he needs it more than MJF. If Mark wins, I may have to change my mind about him being the main eventer in Ring of Honor. Because it felt like he hasn't been doing anything of note. Or in this feud, he's been a complete B player. If he can get the win, that makes me tolerate it a little bit better, even though I don't think the content has been very good at all on MJF's side. But we'll see what happens. I hope you're right on that one. I really do. After that, we have a coffin match. In a match that could very well have been the main event of All In if Darby had decided to not climb Mount Everest. But instead we're getting it here. Moxley versus Darby. What do you make of this? And this match here? What do you think's going to happen? And what do you think of the build to it?
Feels like the blow-off match.
Yeah, totally.
Like, at least with the stipulation. So, but also this has been like more than a year in the making, it feels like, as well. So I don't know. I'm realizing now as we're talking about it that like these builds really haven't been that captivating or great. But I'm excited for the content that they're promising.
Oh, this match should be a banger.
Yes, absolutely insane.
Yeah, this to me could very well be the best match on the show. Moxley's been on a great run of TV matches recently. The match he had with Garcia was awesome. The match he had with Roddy tonight was a really strong match, I thought. So Mox is doing some great work, even if I still don't like the booking of this faction being around after the build-up to it. They did an angle later on in the show, I don't know if you saw it, where Bryan Danielson ended up interviewing Darby Allin. So now Bryan is like the new JR, as well as being a commentator, apparently. So he did a sit-down interview with Bryan and Darby. And he was like, hey, man, why'd you climb Mount Everest for? And they actually showed some footage of him climbing the mountain, which is pretty cool. And he's basically like, he cut a good promo. It was a really good sit-down interview, honestly. The build-up to this is one of the better ones, I would say. My only issue with it is that the feud really heated up a long time ago. Like, the big turning point of this whole angle was literally in 2024. And we're now getting to this point. So I don't think the feud's really peaked. And that's not anybody's fault. That's not any kind of criticism of booking. It's just because he climbed the mountain, I think that kind of threw a lot of timing off. But I think the actual content of this has been one of the stronger builds. And they've largely left it into the ring to determine, and that's where these guys can really shine. So I think it's great. And they did an angle, too, where at the end of the interview, Brian whispered something in Darby's ear, and he was like, I promise you, you have my word. And so we'll see if that gets revealed overall. And I think that would be that's an interesting twist heading into the match. Like, will Brian get involved at the end of the day? And it was a good hook, too. Again, I don't think the actual feud itself is like... I don't think it's like if he had the title, I think it would be a big deal. The same way Moxley and Hangman was. I don't think this has the emotional stakes of a feud like that to a lot of fans, but everybody recognizes how great he is as a wrestler, I think. And like, this match is going to be insane. But how does this match end, though? Like who's going to win this blow-off match?
Darby. It's got to be Darby.
I hope so. And I hope that this is the angle that sets in motion the Death Riders going, at least Moxley going away for a little. Like, that would at least explain why they stuck around a little longer so they could blow off the feud. I still would have greatly preferred Hangman just being number one, like right away. The Death Riders are not really muddying the waters. But at least this gives an explanation for why things have been how they've been. And you give Darby one of the biggest wins of his career here in a coffin match that should be one of his signature matches, ideally. And you get the storyline of Brian, which I do think he'll get involved. An alternate angle could be Brian plays into the finish, and that leads to a Brian-Moxley match in the near future. Maybe you have some kind of return match for Brian. Because he never got his revenge either on the Death Riders, overall. Maybe Brian versus Yuta could be a match, because he's the one who choked him out with the bag on there. Oh, Darby should win, though. Like, I think it's a mistake if Moxley wins. I don't feel as strongly on it as I did the Moxley and Orange Cassidy match from a couple of years ago. I felt for sure like Cassidy should win that match, or he wasn't going to get elevated. And then basically what I feared came true, unfortunately. I don't think it's that big, but I do think Darby should win overall. I feel pretty strongly about it in terms of this card.
Yeah, so I go Darby.
Yeah. So we agree again. So now let's get into some gold here. Some gold matches.
All matches. Gold everything. Let's do it.
The TBS title. Mercedes Moné versus Riho. Riho making her immaculate return. Did you see her match on the Tonight Show, or did you miss that?
No, I did not see it.
I was really hoping you would, because she faced Robin Renegade, and you had said you never saw the Renegade trends, so I was hoping that Robin would win you over.
Okay.
But it did. It was really like an enhancement match, pretty much. I have no interest in this match whatsoever. I have to say, like, I think Riho is a strong, astronomically weak challenger, and they haven't really done her any favors to build her up again. This feels like the early Monet in AEW run. Like, we're in the middle of, like, it's like we've regressed back a year or two. Where this is like an ultimately really bland match. And we hope that the match will be good. But if you ask me, the way that this has been set up, this could not go that long, in my opinion. I think this is going to be an easy win for Mercedes.
Yeah, I'm definitely going Mercedes here. On paper, Riho, first ever AEW Women's Champion. Just ever since that initial run, has just not been able to string together a consistent amount of time. It feels like, unfortunately. So I, if anything, I'm hoping for her to get cemented back into the flow of the company here. Hoping for a great match. Riho goes over in defeat, and then Mercedes gets another great match under her belts, I should say.
Yeah, her mini belts that she has. I hope so too. Riho can do it. It's nothing against her wrestling ability. It's just they haven't given us anything really. Like, she's had a couple of matches against really, like, again, basically enhancement matches that didn't really enhance her that much. Like, overall. I did like that at least they've given her some wins and some TV time, because like you said, that's been something really bad that she hasn't been able to have. And again, this probably isn't a booking issue. It's whatever's going on. Same thing with Shida. Whatever visa issues there are, I don't know. Like, it's impossible to know. And I'm not blaming anybody for it. And ultimately, this really feels like, to me, and hopefully I'm wrong, because I hope that you're right again, but to me, this feels like a completely one-off title match, and I have a feeling Riho might just go away again after this. Unfortunately, maybe sit in a Ring of Honor, like we could have. She'd be a good person to get some time on there. If you don't have anything there, but Mercedes title reign's at a weird point right now, where it's like, it feels like it's kind of dragging, to be honest. Like, I feel like she's out of challengers that she can beat, and we're now in the Riho phase of her title reign. I think they should probably think about who's going to take this belt off of her, and probably do it pretty soon, in my opinion. We'll see. After that, we have more title matches here. This time, a 3-way dance for the AEW Unified title. Kazuchika Okada defending against Konosuke Takeshita and Mascara Dorada, who is there to eat a fall for this match.
Yeah, poor Beast Mortos.
Why can't we give Beast Mortos some love? He would have been a better, honestly, like, stylistically, I think he would have been a better choice to fit in with Takeshita and Okada. I mean, Dorada's going to do some... Yeah, exactly. Dorada's going to do some insane, high-flying stuff, but that's not Okada's game. It damn sure isn't Okada's game. So, they've been building this up as a feud between Okada and Takeshita. It hasn't quite blown up yet, but tonight we did see Takeshita step to Okada, and like, there's definitely tension teased. Takeshita will be challenging for the IWGP Heavyweight title in New Japan next month. What do you think this match is going to be? Because to me, again, I think Dorada is for sure taking the fall here, and I think Okada probably retains.
I think Okada retains, and this sets up the seeds for the C2. Because Takeshita versus Okada, C2 finals, Takeshita beats Okada, like, that seems like the story that makes the most sense to tell, in my opinion.
I actually kind of had
Okada here.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Say?
Now, I have the feeling like there's a vibe to me, because if you look at New Japan right now, if Takeshita wins the title, he really doesn't have any obvious challenger for the Dome. And I feel like Okada Takeshita Dome main event on Tanahashi's retirement show, that makes a lot of sense to me, to be honest. Like, and that could be the way, because we know that Okada left with a ton of heat on New Japan, has not talked well about them since he left. But even still, there's no way Tanahashi's going to have his retirement show and Okada's not going to be on it in some form or fashion. He may not actually have a match, but he will, if it's just sending a video, like he will be on that show no matter what happened between him and the company. And to me, that feels like at least a respectable main event that New Japan desperately needs for their dome. And I feel like all of this could be ultimately in service of that. And they could still do a C2 match. You know, you could have Okada, win the C2 and then lose in the dome or vice versa. It kind of gives you an automatic, like, third match down the line to build to. Like, that to me makes a lot of sense, honestly.
New Japan, though, doing two neither man is full-time New Japan. It's pretty gnarly.
They might not have a choice. The way the card's shaping up right now. Because they're going to need a star, like in that main event. And so they're gonna have to find somebody. It may not be Okada. Like I pitched that maybe Ibushi could be a guy that they bring back into the fold. Maybe Naito comes back around. But if you look at the New Japan roster, if Takeshita wins the belt, there's just nobody there like that you would see. So it's just interesting. Like we have to kind of scramble for that dome main event. But regardless, I do think this will continue on AEW TV. I can't wait for Takeshita to turn babyface as well. For the record, I think he's going to be so good when he turns and gets out of this Don Callis family. That's going to be really cool. Then we have the women's title 4-way. We kind of mentioned the big angle of the shot tonight earlier. Timeless Toni Storm defending against Jamie Hayter, Chris Statlander, and Tekla. I wish that this was a one-on-one match against any of the other three. But as it is, the angle helped. I thought this was like a really good angle that they did on this show. It had a lot of intensity and fire. Like every woman seemed, Tekla's like totally found her groove. Like there's no doubt about that. Like Hayter and Stat, like Statlander's my favorite. Like of everybody in AEW, I personally think she's the best wrestler of the women's division. But her character has been in this weird, like purgatory, where sometimes she's a babyface, sometimes she hates Willow, sometimes Yuta's trying to get her to join the Death Riders. And I hope that they figure out what they want to do with her at the end of the day. Like, that's the main thing I care about in this match more than anything is where does Stat end up? Because they teased a feud with Hayter as well. Somebody who has absolutely not found their groove at all ever since they came back the first time, let alone the second. At the end of the day. There's a part too where like Hayter was talking about how, like Storm forgot about some things, but I'd never forget. And then Statlander walked in and was like, "You can't stop Stat." And then Hayter and Tony had so that's what I like. That's Statlander's deal, though. I feel like she's the type of person that's always trying out different things, and nothing's really caught on like that she's tried. So this new catchphrase, "You can't stop Stat," I think that's the one. What about you?
I think everyone's doing their best right now, Dylan.
This is not a well-built show, man. Like there's no like we're running down these matches, and like one of them I think has been like above.
I'm definitely average. Taking back what I said before, where I was like, I mean, here's the thing: AEW shows always deliver. But yeah, the in-ring has not been compelling.
This match is going to be a banger. Like all four of these women rule. Tekla has been so damn great. I honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if Tekla won this match, and because I do think there's going to be a title change here for the record.
You do?
Yeah, I think there's going to be a title change Because why would you do a 4-way if not to have Tony lose the belt without getting pinned?
Just to have Tony win against multiple women? Maybe set up new stories for singles matches?
But she's already beaten. I guess we're in the same vein as Mercedes, where she's already beaten everybody as the champion. And like I said, it's nothing against Tony. She's done a great job, but I do think that she's basically done all she can do with this belt for the time being. It would be more interesting on Tekla, in my opinion. And you could also have Statlander join the Death Riders. Shafir takes out. I think Hayter takes the pinfall in this match. Well, one way or the other.
Or Hayter.
Yeah, I mean she's like you said, they're trying their best right now. But yeah, I think Stat joining the Death Riders and winning the title makes sense. But I actually think I personally would not do that. I think Stat's better as a babyface than a heel. That's just my view, and I would like her to be in that Blood and Guts match, and her and Willow finally. They unite, form a tag team, introduce the women's tag belts. Willow and Stat are that's their full circle moment. I think that's better than her joining the Death Riders right when Moxley is poised to lose. Finally, I mean, but that would be okay though. If that happened, I wouldn't hate it. But I personally just think Stat's better as a babyface, and I think Tekla's doing great work. It would put over the Triangle of Madness. We gave them a win earlier. You convinced me to give the heel team the win in the earlier match. Why not go all the way?
I'm going to go Tony. I believe in Tony.
Okay. They're going to have to find some... Well, the good news is, because you have Wrestle Dream, you could have a Japanese challenger, on the next show. That kind of gives you time to breathe. But I do think it's they're going to have to find somewhere to go for her. Because I personally would rather see her in the chase at this point. But we'll see. I'll go with Tekla. Go upset here. Even though a lot of the storyline point towards Stat, in my opinion. I'll go with my idea. Stat Willow, tag champions. First ever women's tag champions. Tekla holds the belt for now. Tony on the rise to get her belt back. At a later date. Although you can't stop Stat. I do agree with that statement. Then we have the tag title match. Again, I mean, they've continued the Bucks embarrassing stuff, but now it looks like we're finally moving past that after they qualified for this match. 4-way ladder match. Brody King and Bandito taking on the Young Bucks, Jet Speed, and the Don Callis family team of Hechicero and Josh Alexander. What do you think is going to happen?
So by your logic, this is a 4-way, so Brodito can lose, right?
It's a ladder match, though. It's not a pinfall match, to be fair.
Okay.
But they can lose. I mean, a lot of people think them winning was on accident. They was that's a take I've seen quite a few times online.
Man, they're just so hot. It would be a shame to take the belts off them already.
Yeah, so I love them.
I'm gonna go Brodito.
Me too. And the other teams aren't hot. Outside of the Bucks, maybe. Jet Speed and the Callis family. They're not at their peak at the moment, in my opinion. I don't think it would be the right time for them. The Bucks could win, but I would hate that. How stupid would it be for after the match we saw at All In, where all the stakes were either they lose their status or Ospreay and Swerve are out for a year, they can't challenge for the belts. To have Swerve and Ospreay win, and then immediately the Bucks win the tag belts back, and they're both out due to injury and can't challenge for the belt after. That would be so annoying for me that I can't allow it. I have to go with Brodito retaining here as well. And eventually, like that Brodino versus Bucks regular tag match, that's going to be a banger. And they cannot drop the titles before that. No real storyline with this. They just they had qualifying matches up to this, and all three teams qualified for the ladder match. This could be a sneaky match of the night candidate too. Jet Speed's going to try and go crazy, do some crazy stuff with the ladders. Callis family's there to be some base type guys, be the big guys to handle everyone else doing their flying stuff. Brodino's, like you said, very hot act right now. Not the right time to lose the belts. I'm going with them as well. So then it comes to this, even before we talk about the two matches. Which match do you think is going to be the main event? The world title match or Cope and Cage versus FTR?
FTR Cope and Cage.
I do too, and that really irritates me. And that was the one thing I asked for. If you remember our review of the last pay-per-view, I said the only thing I care about, because they did this crazy Death Riders angle to end the show where they injured Ospreay and took him out of the stretcher that you didn't even watch. Like, you turned it off before that happened.
That's right.
Yeah, so they did that whole bullshit angle instead of Paige being a triumphant champion. And on top of it, Paige didn't even he had a goofy match with MJF. All I wanted was Paige to main event this show and be solidified as the top star. What are they doing with this title reign, man? Why? Why can't they just do something so simple as put the world champion? That used to be their whole thing. Tony said it on the original press conferences all those, 5-6 years ago, that he was a believer and the title should always go on last. When did we go away from that so much? Here, why couldn't this happen when Moxley was champion? Why did he always have to go on last, but Paige can't? I'm so irritated by this.
I still think Paige goes on last, though.
Oh, okay. So you do think they'll go on last, then?
Yeah, sorry. I thought you were asking which one feels more like the main event.
No, I was asking what was the main event going on.
Okay.
And not none of that double main event. We all know that's nonsense. So you think the title will go on last? Okay, well, if that happens, then I think the tag match is going to go on last, personally. But I 100% hope you're right, because I'd be very, very unhappy. So with that said, we'll take it in good faith. If you say the title's going on last, then that's going on last, and I will apologize to Tony Khan on the review if they do. So, Cope and Cage taking on FTR. This has been probably the most, in terms of stuff that actually, TV time, this has probably been the most built-up match on the entire show. A lot of it having to do with Stokely, Hathaway, and all of that. He wrestled Cope in a comedic match at one point. They did the big go-home promo on this show where Copeland and Christian came out, FDR came out. There was all these security guards coming in there, and the angle for this was, if somebody touches FTR, they'd be fined $100,000. So they cut this promo where they came in. Christian was like, I'm already rich. Who gives a damn? So he attacked him anyway. And then Cope and Christian fought anyway. Fines be damned. Dax got a bloody nose. Copeland cut a really riled up promo that you would expect.
Dude, it feels like everything gets under his skin. He seems I don't know why,
really
but he always has to make it a point to get his I knew that he was going to specifically bring up Stokely bringing up Beth.
Yeah.
Because it just felt like something that was a good promo. And dude, the first thing he says is, before I'm going to do my actual promo, I have to put you down, Stokely. And it's just like, dude.
Stokes going to be managing Ricky Saints at this rate, the next thing we see. But yeah, he really has gotten to pretty hard. He's well known for like blocking people randomly on Twitter as well. Like even if you say very minor things towards him. So he's a sensitive guy, you know. Like that's all there is to it. I'm not judging him. I think he's already blocked me, but I don't take offense to it. I don't even know what I said about him. Like I'm you know, I haven't loved his run in AEW. I will assure you of that. But I think the tag team is a good use of him, and a good use of all of these people. Like I think that they're in a good spot being in Canada. They're gonna get the hometown pop. Everyone's gonna love them. FTR, they're a great team. I'm not that interested in them though. Like I still have a hard time really getting into that. But I think it's because all of their angles are so like not that interesting, like overall more than anything. But yeah, to me, I think this is like a slam dunk Copeland and Cage win here.
Yes, I do as well.
And next month we're heading for that tag titles as well for them, because this feels like a number one contenders for the tag belts as well. I mean, you could see. I mean, that kind of gives credence if Cope and Christian win, and the Young Bucks win the ladder match, they can just fast forward to that pretty much on that. Even though I really hope Brodito wins. And in that case, FTR winning would make more sense. But why would you put CNC under in Toronto? Like that's just dumb to me. We don't have to overthink it that much. And I don't even like Cope and Christian anymore. But we have to be logical about this as well, I would say. Let the fans have their go home happy moment. Let them be triumphant and all of that. And again, just don't overthink all this. So, the main event, the world title match. Hangman Page defending against Kyle Fletcher. As it was revealed tonight on the go home angle was that if anybody interferes on Kyle Fletcher's behalf from the Don Callis family, he will not only be disqualified, but stripped of his title, the TNT title.
What do you think?
It feels like this is a complete setup for somebody outside of the Don Callis family to interfere here for this match.
Oh, a new member, maybe? Could we be so lucky?
Yeah. I mean, they don't have enough of those. Have you noticed this? I think that's something I've said a lot recently, that, the Don Callis family, it just doesn't have enough people. That's the problem that I have with it.
Exactly.
And I think we're about to solve that issue. It could be the return of Mark Davis interfering, although technically he was in the Don Callis family. But they kind of dropped. That's another angle they inexplicably dropped, them owning his contract. Because he sign it away, and when he had a leg injury, it was like a completely stupid angle that they ran. But yeah, it could be somebody completely new to come out and interfere to help Fletcher, while also, because I don't think they're going to strip him of the title.
No, definitely not. I think Page goes over clean. I think that's totally fine.
Yeah, he'll overcome the odds. Like, whoever interferes, Fletcher's not winning this belt. Like,
isn't it crazy to think that this last year's main event for All Out was Bryan Danielson versus Jungle Boy?
Whoa.
Feels like a different world, right?
Yeah, this is a completely different main event scene than it was then. This match should be a banger. But I have to say, I don't really like the build-up that much. Like, the main thing that has come from their promo battles that they've had is that Kyle Fletcher doesn't wear socks. Which I'm so disappointed that Ken is not here with us anymore.
Oh,
because every time someone would come out on either WWE or AEW, he would always immediately be like, "Why the fuck are you not wearing any socks?" like he would notice it every time. With Don Callis, with Gunther on WWE, like anybody who wasn't wearing socks, he's like, "What the fuck? Why does nobody wear socks in wrestling?" And I said, "Look, I don't know." At the end, and I still don't know. Like, why don't people wear socks?
I don't know. I'm a sock guy myself, so
yeah, socks are awesome, especially when you're wearing shoes. It's one thing if you don't wear socks indoors, but who the fuck doesn't wear socks? But that's what I'm saying. All these wrestlers wear Callis, Fletcher, Gunther, Kaiser. None of these people wear socks with their shoes. You know, you can get blisters from that, Nello.
Very true. Fair point.
What do you think of their promo segment? The contract signing, and the show ended with Fletcher standing tall and laying him out. But how do you think Fletcher's done in the promo battles with Paige?
Thought he was, I thought he was good. Like there was nothing to me where like I didn't think that. I like the angle of I was in your position once when I first fought Jericho for the world title, so we can see kind of the parallels and all of that stuff. But I think what's so different, obviously, is Fletcher is a very established heel, whereas like Hangman Page back then was kind of like the chosen golden boy. So some differences there that are a little bit hard to make it resonate for me. But man, I'm excited for this match. I think it's going to be fantastic.
I think the promos have been good in terms of performance. I didn't love that the fans caught on to the no socks thing, and I feel like this is going to be his version of bald. And which he is, in fact, bald himself. But that instead of attacking his baldness, they've now attacked his no socks wearingness. But for a title match, all the stuff Paige said, it was great. Like, drawing a parallel to him, to Fletcher now, and him himself 6 years ago, was a really good storyline. He cut a great promo. I thought his performance, again, was great. I think Paige has been awesome in all of his line. He did, like, ride with the crowd. That was really good stuff. He's got great instincts on the mics, too. I have no criticism of the two wrestlers themselves. I just wish that the sock stuff didn't take up so much of the fan bandwidth of this. But I also don't know how I feel. I like the women's version. I thought it was like a great angle. But they kind of did the exact same thing to end the show. Where so Hechicero and Alexander qualified. Then the whole Callis family ran in to beat the shit out of Top Flight. Then they were going to go after Daniels. Then Jet Speed came out. Brodito came out. The Bucks came out. And like this huge brawl was going on. Then Hangman was the last one to come in to clean house. But in the end, it just led to Fletcher getting the edge. And he hit the sheer drop brainbuster through the table. And he held up both belts, pretty much. So,
you belt Fletcher.
Yeah, like it was cool.
Okay, so who do you think's winning?
Oh, Paige is gonna win. I think there's no way Fletcher wins.
Okay.
I think it would be a huge mistake if Paige loses the title here. Yeah. Even though I love Fletcher and I think he would be a great champion. Like I just feel like it's not. This should apparently this company doesn't agree with me. To be fair, but this should be Paige's time. And if he goes in the main event, I think that if this match is not the main event, like I think the tag match will be, if that comes to pass, I think there's a chance Fletcher wins. Actually, like the more I think about it, like the way this title reign's been handled, and them coming up short again, and Fletcher's a really hot character. Maybe some people think that Page is better in the chase than as the champion.
Yeah. I think he's so much better as a champion right now than he was even the first time.
Well, and his first title reign sucked, though. Like, to be fair. Like, it was really bad. It got steamrolled by CM Punk and ruined. That wasn't his fault. I mean, like, that wasn't his fault at all. Again, it was a booking issue, not a Page issue. And I also don't buy this either, by the way. Like, there's nothing wrong with him. He's a great champion. He carries himself well. When he was cutting a promo to Fletcher, he made it seem like the veteran guy.
Yes.
But the problem is that they keep not booking him as the top guy of his promotion for some reason. And so it's their fault. Like, you know, like nothing's stopping them from doing that. Just treat him like a champion. That's all you have to do. This show should end with Hangman Page beating the hell out of whoever interferes. That, like, whoever the new member probably will be. And dropping Fletcher as well. And him posing triumphantly. Maybe he even grabs the TNT belt at the end. And says, we could do it for your belt next time. Something like that. Give us a triumphant moment. Let Hangman stand tall to end the show. But I guess it just depends on if somebody new will interfere, like I think they will. But I think it's like...
Who do you think interferes?
All I'm saying is, why would you say, if someone specifically from the Doghouse family interferes, you'll lose? Like, that to me is a total flag that somebody else will interfere. And I don't know who that is. Like, who makes sense?
No clue, that's the thing.
Yeah. It could be a setup, though. Like, it could be a setup for Wrestle Dream. Like, one of the New Japan stars. And maybe that helps set up the Dome match, perhaps. When Takeshita turns on them. Instead of Okada doing it, it could be a New Japan guy. Like, let's say this hypothetical New Japan wrestler interferes. Fletcher loses. And then the New Japan guy gets the title shot at Wrestle Dream. That would be pretty logical. Right?
Yes, so. Yeah.
What if it's evil?
Stop.
What if it's fucking evil? Like all Gato called it.
It's not funny.
It's not.
No, I'm kidding. That would be fucking nuts, but I've heard that Tony doesn't like evil, and that's why he has never been featured. But yeah, that would be a nightmare.
Yeah, you're right. Like, now that I remember that, you're right. Tony's not a big fan of it. Finley?
Ooh, maybe.
They
that
did
would
a
be
tease.
A good match.
Yeah, well, that would be a great match. Like, and like a really natural stylistic pairing too, in my opinion. Finley and Page. But they did that tease a couple of weeks ago where he was before Forbidden Door, where they had Callis cut a promo, and he said, "Whoever challenges, I forget who it was, like whichever one of his various members was at that show, but he was like, whoever dares step to me and my family, I'm going to crush into oblivion." Like, Callis actually said that, like, directly in a promo, which, I mean, that's Finley's finishing move, if you aren't familiar with him out there. So I think that would be a good person. Well, Kid has been with the Death Riders, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't make much sense for Finley.
Yeah. Although they are doing they are teasing kind of like a split storyline between him and Kid and the War Dogs. So that could be another tide for that. I'm trying to think of who the main eventers even are, really. In New Japan, that it could be. Like, he was one of the bigger ones. And the rest are kind of like baby faces. I don't think it would make a lot of sense for them to line up with Callis. And Zach's the champion, so that wouldn't make any sense at all. Because like he would be a good pick, like if he wasn't the champion. I don't know. Like I said, that maybe it'll be Kid. Like he'll just jump from the Death Riders to the Callis family because his gimmick has kind of been like this, like hired guy, right?
Yes.
So Kid having no loyalty and just jumping that could work. I like the Finley idea better, though, personally. Like if it were up to me. But we'll see. Like that's going to be my prediction. It'll be a New Japan guy to set up the Wrestle Dream main event, and Page will emerge triumphant either way. I don't think there's any reason for Fletcher to win the title, but I do think it's possible if they see what I said, that they just think he's better as a challenger. But I think he's a great champion. And he has potential to have a great title reign if they freaking let him. That's all I ask. Let him main event the show, Tony. I'm begging you. Let him stand tall.
Cowboy strong.
Cowboy shit. So yeah. The match quality of the show is like really high though. Like I know I sounded kind of build up to it, but when we went over the show, like there's like at least 3 matches that I think could be the match of the night. The title match, the tag title match, and the coffin match. Like they could all easily top 4.5 stars to me. Like if everything goes right.
Yes, I think that match-wise, in-ring, that this should be another great show and a long line of some pretty goddamn great shows. They've been on a hot streak this year in terms of pay-per-views.
The 3-way match. I mean, the build hasn't been really anything of note, but that match could be insane if they let Dorada go crazy.
Yep.
Takesha's in there, if Okada's motivated. And Okada, this goes back to his New Japan days. When Fantastica Mania rolled around, Okada was always super motivated because at his heart, he's actually a lucha trainee, not a New Japan. He didn't go to the New Japan dojo. He trained with Ultimo Dragon. So he's always motivated to do lucha stuff. Maybe this was his call to get him in. And we could see some lucha Okada, and he really puts his heart into it here. Even Briscoe and MJF, if Mark just decides to go crazy, like, could be a great match, in all honesty. Even though I'm so down on MJF, it's my rating for MJF is so far below the floor. But if Mark goes crazy and says, "Look, I'm gonna bleed so bad in this match. I'm gonna go through every thumbtack in this match, and I'm gonna make this a great match," that could work. The women's 4-way could be a banger. Like I said, all 4 of those women can work really great. And despite my misgivings, the tag match that could or may not be the main event is going to have the crowd rocking. Like they're going to buy all in. They're going to sing Edge's theme song. It's going to go crazy. Beth will probably be there. We could see her appearance possibly. That'll get a huge pop. I could totally see Beth hitting the glam slam on Stokely. Like to set up the finish of this match. Coming in there. But we'll see how it goes. And at least some of the matches too. Most of these matches do have at least a shred of doubt to them. Like I think there's at least an argument for things to go the other way in pretty much every single match. And that's something that you don't always get, especially in these AEW shows. But we'll see. So yeah, preview. We haven't done one in a long time, to be honest with you. A straight up preview show. Hopefully it delivers upon our expectations. And we will be back, like I said. Pretty much as soon as the show ends, we're gonna hop on and start talking about it. Whatever craziness whatever craziness happens on the show, we will talk about it. Good, bad, or indifferent. We're going to go through the whole card. Should be a lot of fun, and I'm personally looking forward to it. But until then, this weekend, Nello, as always, I think whatever's on your mind, whatever's in your heart, whatever's in your soul, the people want to know it. They want to hear from you one more time before we end the show.
Go back and watch Bear Bronson versus Matt Tremont just one more time. You need to.
Excellent advice to the listeners out there. That's on Wrestle Update. We are the podcast that truly cares about our listeners, and we give the best advice. Don't waste your time being like Dylan, watching the Carolina Panthers lose all their games and being so unhappy and hating his life. Don't be like him. Don't be like Dylan and go out and get half your face burnt to where you look like the Phantom of the Opera. No. Stay inside. Be safe. Watch Bronson and Tremont. Have fun with your life. And ultimately, make sure to always tune in here for Wrestle Update, because we are going to be back very soon. It's going to be a lot of fun when we review All Out once again for the year of our Lord 2025. But most importantly, we want to thank you all for listening. Every single week, we've come in, we've come through, we've done our best, we've had a lot of fun together, and we've had a lot of fun, hopefully entertaining you guys as well. So, thank you guys so much. Can't wait to talk to you again, Nello. Can't wait for the listeners to hear us again. And as always, you know I love you. And until next time, this has been your Wrestle Update.